What's up, guys? Rob, Backyard RC. We got the kraton on the living room table. It's not my work table, but my living room table. And we got some hot racing braces that we're going to use for the center bar. And then I got M2C skid plate that we're going to put on it. And then I've already got the M2C braces here and here, obviously. Stupid antenna. But, so that's what we're going to be doing today. Installing that. And I'm going to see about putting some skid bumpers on this thing in a couple spots. But, that's about it. We've got most of this stuff taken off here. Is pretty simple. One bolt holding this. 2 bolts on each side of the mud flap. And then the 2 bolts on each side. And then there's 2 more bolts down here in each one of these holes. And then this piece will come off, and then we will install the new one. Think just like that, and then obviously repeat the process of pulling it apart to put it back together. And then we will get over here, and then we'll start doing the back too. All right. All right. So we got the front one on, and that was a pain in the butt right here. I didn't know that that entire metal plate that this sits on also has to be removed because there's a screw coming from underneath here, right here. And so this whole metal plate comes off if you're going to do this. The entire metal plate underneath this plastic thing comes with it. So I pried this off of there, not knowing that there was a screw underneath this bad boy. But anyways, I got it done still, got it all put back together the correct way. I ended up pulling the whole metal piece off and then putting that screw back in and whatnot and then putting it back down. But yeah, just remember there is a screw. If you get all the top screws out and you're like, how come this thing ain't coming off? Well, there's one underneath coming from upward going into that hole right there that you don't see on the top. So anyways, I didn't know that, and so I was like, what the blank is going on here? I was getting irritated, but figured it out. We got it done, so now we're going to move on to the rear and get that done right here. And the rear should be a lot easier. You're just pulling off these 2 things and then blowing the wing part off, and then this piece has 2 bolts coming through at the bottom. You pull them out, put it down, put the wing and everything back on, put your bolt through the center, and then put your body things back on. Those go on last because they block all the screws on the side, so put these on last when you go to put it back together. And then obviously you'll pull those off first so you can access these screws. But we'll get started on it and see how it goes. Alright, so we are going to remove these 3 screws right here, and then we should be able to take this thing out. You just got to remove this one body post, and then these 3 screws, and then the 2 on the 2 sides, and then this top rear thing should come out, and then you can put the whatever company you buy. I went with Hot Racing, but you can put whatever one you want in, and then just put it back together. So let's move forward. Alright, so there's also these 2 screws right here, one and one that will have to come out to get this wing mount out of your way so you can access the 2 screws on the side. Alright? Alright, once you have pulled those 2 screws out, this will come all out of your way. So you have 2 on this side that I pulled out, and then the 2 in the back, and that removes the wing mount out of your way. And then from there, there is 1 more screw in the bar, and then the 2 on each side at the bottom, and then that thing's going to come right on out of there, and we will replace it. Alright. Alright, we got the old one off. Now we're going to set the new one in. It's pretty simple. Just goes in there like so. Bam. And we're good to go. Now we just got to put our bolts and stuff back in and put it back together the way we took it apart. Alright, so we've got the 2 screws on the sides put in, and then we put this center piece back in right here. Next is to slide our wing back in and start mounting our wing back on. Alright, so let's do that next. Alright, you guys, so we got that done. It's in there now, as you can see. Black and shiny. Hot Racing in there. And I like that fact that it freed up those spaces down in there, so now the debris will fall out versus getting trapped in there like it was. Looks like I got some grass down there I gotta get out. I didn't see that when I cleaned it. Huh. Bunch of grass in there. Anyway, so that's that. We got the Hot Racing center brace mounts, front and rear aluminum, and they fit. They went right in. I didn't have any problems. A lot of people say that Hot Racing sucks because they don't get the holes lined up right or whatever. I don't know. I have never had an issue with Hot Racing other than when I had bought the aluminum A-arms for my Big Rock V3. They did not specify that they were 10 millimeters too short for the Big Rock V3. They do fit the regular Big Rocks, the older versions, but they do not fit the V3. That was the only issue that I've had with Hot Racing. Other than that, I have loved all their products. Amazing products. They hold up well, and they're very well priced. Not arm and a leg like all these other places. So from there, I just got to put my tire back on and whatnot, and then we will be installing this next. So, yeah. So anyways, I'm going to finish popping this back together. I'm not going to record that because I'm pretty sure you guys know how to put a tire back on. And then I just have to put this body mount post back on too. 2 screws there. Put the tire on. Job done. She's pretty. She's awesome. And everybody knows when you have braces like that, it's definitely aluminum is always going to be better than plastic. So, anyways, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Thanks, and have a wonderful Saturday. Alright. So, we had done the Hot Racing upper deals, and then so while I was working on this thing, I decided to go ahead and open this up. And I added a shim on this one. I added a shim to this because it was still loose and some space between the input and this, I guess they call it SEM gear or whatever. Anyways, it had some slop in there, so I stuck a shim in there. I also put 50K diff fluid in there. And then I'm going to be changing the center and then the rear also. So, and then we've got these the 8S lights that I'm putting on here, and so that should be pretty awesome. So I'm gonna put this back together and then we'll move to the back. Pretty simple. I don't know if you guys need to really be told. It's 4 bolts, 1 2 3 4, and then you take the 2 bolts or the 2 screws holding the sway bar and each A-arm out, and then this thing just comes off, and this thing will just pop right out of here. I didn't record that. I didn't think that. I mean, that's self-explanatory. I didn't think that needed to be said. But anyways, just in case, I figured I'll cover it real fast. It's just the 2 screws and the A-arms holding the sway bars, and then the 4 bolts on the cover, the 4 big bolts. Leave the ones holding the sway bar, that's just the sway bar cover. And then from there, you can add your shim. They actually come, the V5 comes with shims in it, so you don't have to buy any. So, anyways, alright, let's move on. Alright, there we go. Got it all put back together. She's good to go. Now we're moving on to the back. Alright, so far for the rear, I've removed the 2 screws holding the wing on. I have pulled the 2 screws holding the back of the sway bar on. And then I will pull the 4 main screws holding this hub on, and I'm probably going to end up pulling these 2 pins out to release the shocks, to take the tension off of there. From what I've seen, and even the book says to just pull this pin out. It's real simple. You just loosen this little screw right here, and then this slides right out. Same thing on the other side, it slides right out. Very simple. So let's get at it. Yeah, I know I got this willy bar thingy in the way, but in there, 4 screws, just like on the front, 2 on the top, 2 right there on the bottom. The whole thing's gonna come off with the sway bar. Alright, so we got it apart, got it out, opened it up, got the stuff draining out of it. I added a shim, just like I did the front, and from there I'm just waiting for that to drain out, and then I'll add my new stuff in, and then we will just put it back together the same way we took it apart, and then we will move on to the center. Pretty simple, pretty easy. I was a little hesitant myself about getting into this. I don't know, I've never really been one to get into the diffs on a vehicle or whatnot, but from what I can gather, from what I'm doing right now is preventive maintenance, pretty much, you know. Getting in there, adding that shim in there, tightening that up so that it takes away some of that slop around the crowns and stuff of the gears. I mean, that's just all preventative maintenance. And, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, unless you like just going and throwing, you know, $50, $60 away at a time for diffs or whatever, I don't know. Depending on what your bank account looks like, mine's not that fat. Most of my free money is spent on this hobby. Mind you, we still do a bunch of family stuff. I don't go broke doing this hobby. I would never suggest going broke doing this hobby. It's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to financially put you in a deficit. So don't let the hobby do that to you. But I guess that's about it. I don't really have a whole lot going on here. We're waiting forever for this stuff to come out of here. It's slow moving. So I guess it comes stock with like 10,000, I believe the book said. And then I put 50 in it, so we'll go from there. I drove it, like I was bashing it on the 10. I mean, it seemed alright. But yeah, oh yeah, right here. Kraton 10,000. And then 100,000 on the center, which is stock. You can find all this in your manual on your Kraton. It's all in here. It'll tell you when to do it, you know, how often you should be doing this. It tells you how often to check your stupid tires. I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, most people don't even think to look in their manual and see that it even tells them that. I have people all the time asking me, oh, what's this part, or what's that part, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, shoot, look in your manual. It's right there, probably. 99% of the time it is. But I do love how arrma does this, this whole maintenance thing. That's pretty cool. I like that. Does your shocks, does a couple other things. But, alrighty-o. I'm going to go ahead and stop this for now while we wait for the rest of the duration of the time of that to seep out with its million-year butt. And then we'll get back to it. See you in a little bit. Alright, so it's finally drained. So we're going to put our oil in here. I should have held it upside down prior to this. There we go. Now it's coming. And then, as you can see, I'm just going to kind of help it get into those corners a little bit by moving it around. As you can see, this stuff's really thin. Alright, then we're just going to let that settle and see where that line is. Jesus. And then we'll let that settle down and see where that ends up topping off at. I'm pretty sure I'll have to add more to it.
The family's faith is tested once more when Annie receives an earth-shattering medical diagnosis.
Alright.
When he told us that there's no easy way to say this, you got cancer. That was just so weird to hear. You just don't know what to say, you don't know what to do. But knowing that if our family stays strong and faith in the family and faith in the good Lord, we're going to get through, we're going to deal with it. We're just going to get faith in the good Lord. It's only 2 years. You know? To be killed with another woman. A lot. You know? And they would try
where are we at?
you know, these bears who stood in front of us, get out of here.
I would say we're there. Maybe just a tiny bit more. I'm not too sure what is too full, what isn't enough. I have not a clue. All I know is it didn't seem like very much fell out of there. So, and then on the picture it shows you like filling it like almost all the way up. So I'm gonna put another blop in there. And that should do it right there. Alright.
He's a very strong guy. Going through all of that, like just tough things. It gives you that strength, not only in God, in the family, but in yourself. And I think that every time our life falls apart, when it gets back together, it's stronger.
Oh no. Oh no.
Anxious to find out the results. There's no evidence of any active cancer.
Well, this shit's like syrup. It's pretty cool. Alright, so from there, I will just put the gasket back on, and then I will put the other end on, and then put the 4 screws in, and then I've already added the other shim to that side, and then from there we will just pop back in there, put the 4 screws back in, put the 1 screw on each side of the sway bar, the pins back in for the shocks, and then tighten these guys down to hold those pins in, and put the wing back on. And I believe that should do it. So, alright, well, I'm going to get back at that, and we'll see how it looks here in a minute. Alright, so there you go. It's put back in, grease done. And now I'm just going to put my 4 screws to put the cover on. The other 2 screws, all that, like I explained. And then should be done. Alright, and there you have it. All done. Shim, 1 shim added to front and rear. 50K diff fluid. It had 10K. Went to the 50, and then we'll be doing the center here either tonight or possibly tomorrow, depending on how my time frame is. But alright, well, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. You guys have a good one.